Haha, well, take a look at the clock. Today, friends, I could not help myself. I wanted to get a little bit artsy with it. In honor of Minecraft's new greatest mob, the Snapshot title numbers, whew, they never look more fresh than ever before. Lads, laddies, everybody, welcome to the next Snapshot. In today's Sculk sensor changes and some technical things. On top of that, last week's gargantuan Snapshot, I've got even more features that you probably haven't heard about. No pun intended at all. Today, let's kick things off a little bit randomly, as in with that brand new random command. So in last week's Snapshot, there were so many big things like villagers, wandering trader stuff that a lot of stuff got overshadowed. This brand new random command is essentially a command for getting a little bit random. The main use for this command is going to be set up by random, value, and then some kind of range here. We're going to say 1 to 6. I go ahead and roll the command, check the chat, and just like that, I got a random value. If I run it again and again and again, I will keep getting random values the whole time. What do you use this for? Oh, well, it's simple. Maybe you're setting up for some sort of cool game inside of the Snapshot and you want, like, to draw a random number. Well, no big deal. As long as you type the numbers correctly, you can draw any number in between 1 and 96. Just like that. There's a little bit more ins and outs to the command, but for the most part, that's basically it. I like the command. Hey, yo, wait, hold up a second. Did somebody say like? Remember to do that. The love and support that I felt from you guys was so warm and simply stunning. Let's pull it off again. Thank you. So just earlier this morning, I cannot lie, I was a little bit nervous. A Snapshot season kicked off last week, but I was not sure if it will continue into this week. Sure enough, it has continued into this week. One of the biggest parts of this week's Snapshot is this data pack version stuff. In last week's Snapshot, there were some pretty big changes made to data packs and resource packs. In this week's Snapshot, there were even more changes made to this stuff. Now, there were tons of changes packed into last week's Snapshot when it has to do with resource pack formatting and different pieces of resource packs and other pieces of resource packs, and yeah. I'll be honest, I'm not much of a resource pack creator myself, just a little bit more of a connoisseur, same with data packs. However, one of the most romantic looking changes from last week's Snapshot is this one right here. New features have been added to data packs and resource packs to allow creation of packs that are compatible with multiple versions. Inside of your pack, when you're doing all that technical business, you'll do some kind of technical looking thing like this right here. If I'm understanding all this correctly, this is actually kind of breathtaking. Theoretically, I think this should mean that as they introduce more experiments and update the game to 1.20.2, 0.3, 0.4, basically you have to update your data pack less. It's beautiful. Sculk sensor, Sculk sensor. This Sculk sensor. One of the biggest pieces of the puzzle that is today's Snapshot is the Sculk sensor. In last week's Snapshot, a couple new vibrations were now detectable. One of them is going to be these romantic turtles after they make a little bit of love. When this turtle does the digging thing, the sensor can hear it. Hey, are you perhaps sharding? Oh, he's sharding. That's so cool. As any good 100% hardcore Minecraft player would know, totem of undying, it popped up. Go ahead and roll it one more time and check that. When the totem pops up, the sensor can hear me. Oh no. Where'd my turtle go? The witch, when you interact with one of these things in survival, one of their moves is drinking a potion. When the witch drinks the potion, it'll be heard. It's acting weird though. And then finally, for last week, we got a couple new camel vibrations that are detectable, such as yeeting the camel. It's very nice. The first 100% brand new Sculk sensor change has to do with the simulation distance. I think theoretically this should be good. Vibrations will no longer get lost with simulation distance. If it was like really short and I had a vibe rolling over here, I moved far enough away, I believe the vibration should basically just finish off its vibration-y thing. It won't get lost. As of this Snapshot, unequipping an item will now emit a vibration with a frequency of 4. Hey, speaking of turtle eggs, if I crack these things, that's signal 11, and if I hatch them, that's signal 12. Finishing bone mealing something, signal 3. Chisel bookshelf, hopper into the chisel bookshelf. Inside of the hopper, we put a book. When the book goes into the chisel bookshelf, signal 11. Evokers using vexes or fangs. That's gonna be a whole lot of signals, specifically 14. Fire being doused by water is signal 12. Carrots being eaten by rabbits or sweet berries eaten by foxes is signal 11. And last but not least, oh, sweet camel friend, I feed you the cactus, that is signal 8. So clearly, as we can see from those changes, the ones from last Snapshot, there's a lot of big focus on vibrations recently. It makes me wonder if they're gonna do anything with this stuff in like 1.21 or something. I mean, after all, there still is this strange looking portal that's definitely a portal, sitting unoccupied for now over a year. What do you think? Do you think they're gonna come back to this stuff even more? So take a look at the screen, real closely take a look at the screen. And do you notice anything different? Because if you are a true Minecraft veteran, you will notice something different immediately. Not gonna lie, it's kind of despicable actually. I was following all of the bugs before last week's snapshot, and this was one of the big ones that I had like noted down. The hotbar, the bottom 2 pixels. You could actually see them now for the first time in like, well really for the first time in like ever. This was one of the oldest bugs fixed in last week's end-related snapshot. Lapis lazuli, the very useful Minecraft ore. In Minecraft in-game, you might be familiar, but this is what Lapis looks like. In Minecraft, inside of the smithing table 1.20, Lapis will eventually pop up in there, and that's what it looks like, very low quality. Inside of the enchanting table, Lapis will now look exactly the same. I don't know about this. I think the old one was better. As everybody, even those of you living under a rock have heard of by now, the last week's snapshot added some pretty interesting brand new villager trading mechanics. Because of these new villager trading mechanics, some people are very, very angry. Essentially, long story short, we've got different enchantments linked to specific biomes now. For example, in the plains biome, we can find Bane of Arthropods, Punch, and like, something else. Because of how villager trading works and leveling in general, then because of how many enchantments are actually exclusive to each biome now, there's a huge problem that was pointed out. If every single villager in each biome in Minecraft will only have 3 specific enchantments, not including their master trade, there's a high probability, like very, very likely, that accidentally the book trades could end up overlapping. Inside of this week's snapshot, there wasn't anything per se, like exactly changed or anything, and the devs are probably still looking for feedback. I feel like we could probably expect it in next week's snapshot, but let's check this out. Bane of Arthropods, Smite, and Punch. Right there I got lucky. But these are 3 book trades. I wonder if each villager could accidentally end up with like Bane of Arthropods each time. Hopefully the devs will come back to all of this villager stuff in next week's snapshot, because it was really, really interesting. While we're over here at the village that apparently has a lava ocean smack dab in the middle of it though, this is kind of perfect. In last week's snapshot, we talked all about how the iron golem spawning rate has been slightly increased due to a bug fix. Well, actually, in last week's snapshot, piglin bartering was adjusted as well. If you're planning on doing any trading with the slightly less attractive Minecraft villagers, then as long as it's not interrupted, it'll be slightly faster. It's not something you're really going to notice when you walk up to a piglin and give it a gold bar. Instead, you'll probably notice it inside of some kind of automatic bartering farm. It'll be slightly faster. Next up, over to what has to be Minecraft's smallest snowy plains biome, but it will technically work. For this one, we're going to go ahead and make it rain, or in other words, in a cold biome, make it snow. After that, we're going to go ahead and adjust the random tick speed game rule and watch what happens to the ground. Because I have snow accumulation height set to 8, the snow is going to fill up. But also, more importantly, random tick speed controls the snow accumulation now. But actually, check this. It goes one farther too. If I go ahead and raise that random tick speed back up, random tick speed controls ice creation now as well. I don't know, guys. This is like so interesting and oddly satisfying to watch. I hope it's not just me. And so, for Minecraft 23w32a, aside from approximately 16 bug fixes, many of which have to do with like texture-related things, that's going to be just about it. One of the more interesting bug fixes in this week's snapshot has to do with armor trim. When the armor trim was trimming the chain helmet before, and actually the turtle helmets as well, certain trims would basically just add to the helmet, adding new pixels. It's not going to work like that anymore, and it's like crazy noticeable on the chain one. Like, that's wild looking. Anyways though, lads, as always, if you find something else secret and spicy inside of the snapshots, send it to my subreddit or tell me about it down below. For more snapshot videos, delete that like button and subscribe. New guide episode coming tomorrow. Don't miss it. Goodbye, everyone. I'll see you next time.